Agricultural ministers from all across the EU will be gathering in Brussels today for key talks. To hear what exactly is at stake for them, I'm joined now by the Irish Minister for State from the Department of Agriculture and Food. That is Timmy Dooley. Good morning.
Morning, Maeve. How are you?
Good. Great to have you with us here. So just tell us, how is the instability in the Middle East and the ongoing war, of course, in Ukraine impacting your talks today?
Yeah, well, sure, it's impacting talks right across Europe. Every Council of Ministers are obviously concerned. From an Irish perspective, we want to see de-escalation. That's really always the approach that Ireland has taken. Try to get a level of agreement between all sides here.
And how are you getting your voice out then?
Well, I think the Taoiseach has been very clear. As you know, he was in Washington recently in the celebration of St. Patrick's Day, and in his conversations with President Trump made it very clear that Ireland can act in a role which we have been very good at as part of that de-escalation process.
And did President Trump listen to him?
Well, I would hope so. I think President Trump listens to people right across the world and leaders across the world, but I think Ireland's position has always been about trying to pull back from the front line, get a dialogue going. Like all wars ultimately end, and what you would want to do is that they end with the least loss of life and least disruption to the activities of, particularly in Europe, member states, but right throughout the world. And
because the Europeans still don't have clarity on what the President Trump's plan is here to end the war.
Nobody seems to have, and that's understandable. But I think as we move towards taking on the presidency in the latter half of this year, Prime Minister Martin will come into the frame very much in acting sort of as head of that European institution. And I think from Ireland's perspective, we've always been really good at peacekeeping, peace monitoring, and de-escalation, and that's again where we will try to bring our skill set to the fore.
And meanwhile today, are you focusing on any particular measures to look after farmers across the board?
Well, of course, the issue for farmers is very stark at the minute, particularly on the rising cost of fuel and also the cost and supply of fertiliser. We want to see a mechanism in place that the CBAM initiative can be put to the side. But we need that mechanism in place that would allow that to happen. So that will be for discussion today. And again, the ongoing fuel crisis, of course, is impacting both on farmers and on fishermen and women, as Commissioner Caddis had rightly identified earlier.
And what about the EU Merkasaur deal? The Commission has decided it would be provisionally implemented as of the 1st of May. Does that make you angry?
Well, no, we note the decision of the Commission. As you know, Ireland was not able to accept the final agreement, although we did get heavily involved in the discussions about ensuring, insofar as possible, that safeguards were there from a market impact perspective. Look, we saw from the start that there were issues around standards, environmental issues, and from that perspective, we want to ensure now that as the Commission moves into a phase of implementation, that the safeguards that were put in place are adhered to, and that the appropriate monitoring is in place to ensure that all those inspections.
EU-Australia deal?
Yeah,
good or bad?
Yeah. Well, as you know, Ireland has deep-seated links with Australia. There's scarcely a family in Ireland that hasn't got links there. So there's real opportunities there. But obviously we'll have to see the detail. But there are significant opportunities for Ireland, both at the agri-food sector and right across all aspects.
Like the EU-India deal too, a good one for Ireland. Not like Merkasaur, as you say there. Minister Timmy Doolin, thank you so much.